And I am back with another One Piece video. And real quick, whoa, why none of y'all told me my mic was messed up, bro? But the mic that was for my last 2 videos I posted, it was using my freaking face cam microphone. I guess it messed up when I plugged in my new face cam. It messed it up. Like, you know what I'm saying? I look a little better than the last face cam I had. This was the one I had bought to replace that last one, but it was kind of like cool. It was like cool. It's like showing a cool tint. So, but I got it working. It's all good. But anyways, man, we back. Microphone's working. Let's get into this One Piece video, man. Hey, this is Every Supreme King. You're finna find out what a Supreme King is, all right? Hit the like button, comment down below. I'm guessing it's multiple Supreme Kings. Comment down below your favorite Supreme King and hit the subscribe button. Let's get into this video, man.
Before we get into the actual characters who have Conqueror's Haki, we should probably talk about what Conqueror's Haki is, especially since it can often feel like Conqueror's is the most ambiguous kind of all Haki. Like with observation and armament, there tends to be a very clear thing happening, boosting the user's ability to perceive the world around it, or bolstering the attack and defense of the people using it or their weapons. But what does it really mean to impose your will on others? At a base level, this just means that your willpower or your desire to see your dream come true is stronger in comparison to the will of your target. And the bigger that gap, the stronger the effect of your Conqueror's Haki will be. Which is why we often see this ability taking shape in those who have roles of leadership or who have deep-seated dreams that they're trying to make a reality. It is those who aim to change the world who have the strongest wills.
Okay, who aim to change the world? Okay. I was just about to say, like, why doesn't Zoro have Conquerors? Wait, or does he have Conquerors?
And that's what makes them natural leaders.
I don't think he does.
And that tends to be a common thread between Conqueror's users. They have the ability to lead, dominate, or guide those around them. In terms of how this ability actually manifests, it's fairly unique. Unlike observation and armament, this is an ability that you have to be born with, and it's unable to be taught or trained. The only way to actually develop Conqueror's Haki is to generally become stronger both in body and in spirit. This means that the more capable someone is, the more they're able to conquer.
So Zoro should have it. Zoro should have Conquerors then, right?
And that kind of makes sense. This also means that while children can manifest Conqueror's Haki like Ace did, it's usually pretty mild in
Ace, he got it as a child. What?
their hands and doesn't fully take shape until they're adults. Once it does develop, though, it tends to be used in 4 different ways. These are domination, incapacitation, pressure, and infusion. At least, those are the titles given to them in the One Piece wiki, and honestly, they're pretty fitting. I don't believe I've heard these names used in the actual series, but we're gonna go with them for ease of access. Domination is the ability to intimidate or subdue others. We typically see this being used against animals, and it is the first example of Haki that we saw in the series, with Shanks scaring off the King of the Coast. It's more about scaring or like, stopping things.
I thought it was like when they can like knock them out, or is... okay.
Things that you don't really want to hurt. For example, Luffy.
Or is that them like talking to the animals? You know, when they say they can talk to animals, is that them like talking to the animals?
Uses this against Motobaro or Tsurume, as they're just animals and they don't really deserve to be beaten up. But even so, their rampages do need to be stopped. That said, we do also see this being used against non-animals as well. For example, when Luffy is fighting the Gorgon sisters, he uses it to stop them from destroying the statues of his new friends on Amazon Lily. What's interesting is that both of these two obviously have zone fruits, so while they themselves are not animals, they are influenced by animal traits. At least, that's what Lucci had explained when he was talking about how his fruit affects him. Incapacitation is the next level up. We aren't just trying to stop an animal rampaging, and we don't particularly care about the people that we're targeting. So instead of just scaring them, we're knocking them out. This is first seen when Shanks walks onto Whitebeard's ship, and like half of his crew passes out as a result. When this is used by Luffy, he's typically surrounded by a large group of enemies, and thus this will thin their numbers pretty considerably. A conqueror doesn't just impose himself on the living things around him, though. It can also damage the surrounding environment as well, and this is pressure. We also see this when Shanks gets onto the Moby Dick, as he not only knocks out Whitebeard's crew, but you can also see damage to the ship as well. More noticeably though is when two Conqueror users clash and the pressure begins to spark, sending out black lightning, and also producing shockwaves that can push back whatever's around them. If the users are particularly powerful, these shockwaves can even divide the clouds above them in the sky. And finally, the newest form of Conqueror's Haki that we know of being Infusion. By imbuing their weapons and bodies with Haki, they can boost their attacks in a more impactful way. I know this isn't exactly right, but I like to think of it as a kind of fusion of armament and Conquerors. This is actually significant enough of a boost to allow Luffy to even make meaningful hits on Kaido, when only armament alone wasn't leaving any damage. This is one of the most rare elements of Conquerors. Even among the only 19 users that we know of, just 7 of them are able to use Infusion, at least that we've seen so far. These being Roger, Whitebeard, Kaido, Luffy, Big Mom, Yamato, and Zoro. Now, speaking of, let's talk about all the known users of Conquerors, and to keep them a little bit organized, we're going to be dividing them into 4 groups. Firstly, the Legends. People who have challenged the world and came back as champions, mostly of the previous era of pirates. These include Gold D. Roger, Edward Newgate, Kozuki Odin, Don Chinjiao, Silvers Rayleigh, Kaido, and Big Mom.
I ain't gonna lie, I don't know none of them. They said Whitebeard, Roger, Kaido, Big Mama. I ain't gonna Lizzo. I ain't gonna, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna chill. All right, I'm gonna chill. And that's Luffy granddad. I don't know what he is, like what he do, anything like that, but I just know that's his granddaddy. I don't know who that is.
You can also probably throw Sengoku into the mix, and on that note, it's pretty interesting to mention that he's the only Marine to ever have shown Conqueror's Haki in the series. I'm not sure why it's so slanted towards pirates, but if I had to guess, it might be something in line with about how Marines are part of a chain of command, and unless you're at the top, you're not really conquering or controlling anything. Moving on, we have a few characters who are in their prime right now, who aren't quite in the old guard, but aren't quite in the new guard either. These being Shanks, Doflamingo, and Katakuri. And from here, we can move on to the next generation of Conquerors, including Monkey D. Luffy, Roronoa Zoro, Yamato, Portgas D. Ace, Eustace Kid, and Boa Hancock. Finally, there are 2 non-canon users in Douglas Bullet and Naguri. I highly doubt that these are the only characters who have Conquerors in the series, and likely there are a few characters that we've already met that we just don't know about. If I had to guess, I'd probably look at characters like Dragon, Zebek, Blackbeard, Sakazuki, Imusama, and Joy Boy, all likely being Conquerors users as well. Of course, we also have characters to mention like Garp and Mihawk, but to me those two don't quite give off the Conqueror's vibe, if that makes sense. Both of them are just kind of too content with where they are, and aren't exactly ambitiously working towards a goal. They just don't show off that drive or ambition to grow, or to spread their influence that's often associated with Conquerors. Law as well kind of fits in this boat, as he is definitely ambitious, but he doesn't really feel like he's confident enough to give off that I can do anything mentality, especially when you compare him to characters like Luffy or Kid, for example. He instead prefers to strategize or lean on others like Luffy to make his goals a reality. And at this point, you might be asking, well, what about characters like Zoro or Yamato who have Conquerors but aren't the leaders of their crew? And to that, we have to point out that they directly rank under other people who do have Conquerors. In fact, every case of a Conqueror's user who isn't the head honcho is directly subservient to someone who also has Conquerors. Sort of a kings only respect kings mentality, I guess.
I mean, but shouldn't the person under the king, you know what I'm saying, have Conquerors too? And the person under that person have Conquerors. You know what I'm saying? And that person under that person, under that person, under that person. I'm saying? All right, I'm fucking yellow. I mean, stop. As
Marigold and Treble both explained throughout the series, these characters have qualities of kings. It isn't about them literally being royals or nobles. The bloodline just doesn't matter. But instead, it's all about ambition. That said, by the time that many of these people's lives or adventures ended, they would also gain some kind of title or epithet that would be a symbol of their conquering roles. So let's talk about what these conquerors did and how they earned their titles.
Okay.
Gold D. Roger was the captain of the first crew since the Void Century to successfully make it all the way to the end of the Grand Line, finding Laugh Tale and earning the title of Pirate King. His rival, Edward Newgate,
Finding
became a
live
Yonko.
tail. So what is that live tail? He made it to the end of the grand line, and then he just got the what?
Who held influence over a ton of islands and nations by leading a pirate crew of over 1,600 members. And it wasn't just his crew, though. Newgate himself was also given the titles of strongest man in the world and the man closest to finding the One Piece.
So why wasn't he given Pirate King? Wait, is he like a Marine or something? Bro, I'm confused, bro. What's going
been holding those titles despite how unhealthy he had become in his old age. The true show of Newgate's dominance, though, is his ability to make the entire world call him Whitebeard, even though he only had a mustache. Speaking of insanely powerful people, Kozuki Oden, the man who would conquer the region of Kuri, which had previously been filled with exiled outlaws, pillagers, and murderers. Just all around not a fun place. Some of these outlaws include people like Kinemon, Raizo, Kanjuro, Kikunojo, Kawamatsu, Denjiro, and Ashura Doji. And those names matter quite a bit considering that they made up the majority of the people who would form Oden's Red Scabbards when he became daimyo. Interestingly enough, though, the only title that Oden would actually be given is Idiot Lord by Orochi. However, in general, just his name alone has become synonymous with legend, so it's a pretty unique situation for sure. We all know how badass Oden is, but on the complete opposite side of the spectrum, we have Chinjiao. Let me know in the comments if anyone actually likes Chinjiao, because to me, he's just always seemed so lame.
I don't know who
Chinjiao the Drill. Rayleigh is pretty interesting, as we don't know a ton of things about him, let alone the specifics of what he really wanted in his youth, other than to help Roger.
Bro, he just looked like he's scheming something, bro. Like, you can't trust a nigga with that got the glasses glowing. You feel me? Like, bro, you really gotta, you really gotta know the positioning. It's like, get that glow in your glasses. Like, bro, they really scheming, bro. Like, you really you see a light, you be like, oh, yeah, let me clean. Like, nah, bro, y'all scheming something. Even that's your granddaddy, Luffy. He probably trying to take your fruit or something. You know what I'm saying? Finna eat your heart, take your fruit, and put you in a sea. You know?
On his voyage. What we do know is that he was the first mate to the King of the Pirates, and given the title Dark King. And to me at least, this implies that while Roger was getting all the attention and living in the light of public view, Rayleigh was likely in charge of a lot of the background things, helping from the shadows.
Bro, look at it, bro. Ain't no way, bro. Ain't no way I'm trusting somebody that looked like this, bro. Look at his, he looked menace. He looked like a menace. He looked menacing.
That's just my theory, though, since I can't really see this generally friendly guy like Rayleigh having this ominous-sounding epithet for no reason. Kaido, on the other hand, could definitely earn a name like that. He was the captain of the Beast Pirates and now a former Yonko, ruling over Wano for the last 20 years.
So you gotta have the One Piece to become Pirate King, right? Otherwise, Kaido should be Pirate King. As of now, until Luffy, I guess. But Kaido should be Pirate King, right?
Amassing an army of artificial devil fruit users, as well as powerful ancient Zoans. Kaido himself was considered to be so powerful that in any one-on-one fight, he would always come out on top, because he is more or less unkillable, earning him the title of strongest creature in the world. His former crewmate, as well as fellow former Yonko herself, Charlotte Linlin, ruled over the Totland archipelago, as well as being a prominent pirate for the
Bro, her name is not Charlotte, bro. I keep calling her Charlotte, bro. She is not Charlotte, bro. That is not her name. Hold on. Let me show y'all. Let me show y'all her name, bro. Let me show y'all her name, bro. Norbit. Let me show y'all her name, bro. Hold on. What her name at? Respucia. Let me show. Hey, this her right here. Hold on, let me look. Oh, hold on. Oh, I hope I don't get. Hold on, bro. Bro, this is her. This is Big Mama right here, but don't let them fool y'all, bro. Don't let them fool y'all, bro. That is her, bro. Oh, what the? Okay, yeah, that's her right there. Her name is not no Charlotte. That's Respucia, bro.
Much like Kaido, Linlin would go on to produce her own personal army, although she did it in a more literal sense.
She got that dude
aiming
right there
to
with
have
the
children
shit,
from
so.
each race other than giants, and to form a pseudo-peaceful utopia where all races could belong. She would go on to have 85 children with 43 husbands over the last 42.
Bro, who's smashing, bro? Like, that is disgusting, bro. Bro, let me know right now in the comment section, bro, if y'all smashing it. Y'all better not be. Oh, yeah, that's disgusting. Bro, look. Bro, her mouth on her neck, bro. She even got a neck. Oh, hell nah.
2 years, and as such, it makes a lot of sense that she would be called Big Mom. And our last entry into the new guard, we have Sengoku, the former fleet admiral of the Marines, who was considered to be one of the strongest Marines from Roger's generation, going on to lead the Marines until their victory at Marineford against the Whitebeard pirates. His strategic mind earned him the title of the resourceful general, but he also had a much more straightforward name, the Buddha, which instead was a reference to the devil fruit that he used. In either vein, he's supposed to be a symbol of wisdom and guidance among the Marines. First of our current age of Yonkos is Shanks. Shanks is another character who is filled with mysteries, but it feels like we're on the verge of knowing his true intentions. However, it would seem that his overall goal is to stop Blackbeard. Shanks himself is of course a former apprentice on Roger's crew, as well as being the inspiration for Luffy to set sail. Unlike the former Yonko, Shanks doesn't have a title about his strength. In fact, none of this generation of Yonko do, which is pretty interesting. Instead, he's simply called Red-Haired Shanks. That said, much like how Odin's name demands respect, as soon as anyone hears red hair, they do jump to it being Shanks, and owning an entire hair color is pretty impressive in itself. Doflamingo, the only celestial dragon that we know of with Conqueror's HAKI, led the Don Quixote pirates, ultimately earning a spot as a warlord and giving him carte blanche access to conquer Dressrosa and become its king for the last decade. All while he also ruled the underworld under the codename Joker, fitting for someone who would bring smiles to Wano. Finally, Dofi's epithet, the Heavenly Demon, or Heavenly Yasha, is in reference to him being a celestial dragon.
Yeah, bro, we already know about the menace, bro. You know what I'm saying? He calling peasants. Yeah, we already know about him, but
who now aims
we already
to
know
everything.
about the dough.
And the last of our midpoint conquerors is, of course, Katakuri, second son of Big Mom and one of her sweet commanders. He is considered to be the strongest member of her crew and rules over Komugi Island as its minister. We unfortunately don't know a lot about where Katakuri is going based on recent manga events, but I would imagine that he's likely going to get a title based on his actions from this point on. Finally, onto the new age of conquerors, starting of course with Monkey D. Luffy, captain of the Straw Hats and leader of the Grand Fleet of 5,000 members.
5,000?
The man aiming to be
5,000? What he got 5? I only knew about his crew. I didn't know about the 5,000. I only knew about his little boat crew. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck? What 5,000?
The next pirate king, the return of Joy Boy, an inheritor of both Roger's will and the mythical Nika Devil Fruit. He is the former 5th Emperor and current new Yonko, and it's pretty straightforward to see why Luffy has Conqueror's HAKI when you consider everything involved around his character at this point. But what is interesting to note is that Luffy is seemingly the only one on the list who has no interest in conquering others. Instead, he has this innate ability to garner the trust, respect, and loyalty of anyone whose path he crosses, and he simply wants to be the most free. Obviously, Luffy's title is Straw Hat, but that raises some interesting questions, like what he's going to be called once he gives the hat back to Shanks, and how that connects both of these two characters to the giant Straw Hat under Marijois. Luffy's first...
Ain't gonna lie, what if they start calling him Nika? Nika. Hey man, what Nika at, bro? Man, that Nika somewhere, bro. Yeah, Nika somewhere, bro. Hey, Nika. Come over here real quick, Nika.
First mate Zoro also has Conqueror's
Bro, it sounds too like, bro, Oda better not do that, bro.
That Zoro seems like he would be more capable of being captain because of the air that he carries.
I feel like they're just gonna call him Luffy, bro.
And that makes a lot of sense considering that both of them are conquerors. Zoro's dream isn't to become king of the pirates though, or even captain. Instead, he wants to become the world's greatest swordsman, so that his name can become famous enough to reach Kuina in heaven. And of course, Zoro's title is Pirate Hunter, a reference to his bounty hunting days in the East Blue. Yamato, our newest potential Straw Hat as of right now, is the child of Kaido, and was as such given the title of Oni Princess. Yamato's goal is to be free, similar to Luffy. However, this is in a much more literal sense, since they've always been trapped on Wano by Kaido. And now that Kaido's been defeated, it looks like they might have their chance.
Wait, how's she been trapped on? Can't she just hop off that motherfucker?
To become free. Luffy's brother Ace also had conquerors. He originally wanted to become Pirate King himself, but decided to put all of his efforts into making Whitebeard the Pirate King. He was given the title Fire Fist in reference to his Devil Fruit, as well as his signature attack. Eustace Kid is also aiming to become King of the Pirates, however, he seems to be the most willing to do anything to reach that goal. While Luffy aims to become Pirate King, he tries to do things that are morally good while he does so. Kid, on the other hand, is willing to straight up execute anyone in his way. Kid's epithet is less than creative, but he is called Eustace Captain Kid. And our final canon Conqueror user is Boa Hancock, the Pirate Empress of Amazon Lily, the captain of the Kuja Pirates, and the former warlord. Hancock was a slave to the Celestial Dragons early on in her life, and has made it her goal to rise above everyone else, so that she can never be looked down on again.
Hey bro,
Hancock's
what's up with these
titles
Celestial Dragons, bro? What they got going on, bro? What they got going on, bro?
both based on her position in Amazon Lily, being Snake Princess and Pirate Empress. And I've always kind of wondered how Big Mom felt about her being called Pirate Empress, considering that Big Mom was one of the 4 emperors, and that title likely would have made a lot more sense for her.
No, bro. No.
But either way, let's move on to the final 2 members who are non-canon users. Firstly, Naguri.
I don't care about them, man. They're not even canon. But anyways, man, that's the end of the video. Hit the like button. Comment down below who y'all favorite Supreme King is. So having Conquerors makes you a Supreme King. They know that. Now I do. Okay. Anyways, man, subscribe button. I'm gone.